So for my flowers, I'm going to be using this ombre purple medium weight acrylic yarn. You can go ahead and grab whatever colors you think is going to look pretty. First thing we're going to do is leave yourself a good amount of yarn at the end before you make your slip knot, because when you end, you're going to want to be able to tie both pieces. So about this far, I'm going to make my slip knot. And now we're going to chain 58. Now that I've made my chain of 58, we're going to skip the first 3 stitches and make 4 double crochets into the 4th stitch. So skip the first 3, 1, 2, 3, and double crochet into the 4th one right here. So double crochet, I'm yarning over, inserting my hook to that 4th stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the first 2, and then the next 2. So that's what a double crochet looks like in case you're a very beginner. Now we're going to make 3 more of those into that very same stitch right here. Two, so you're gonna have a total of 4 double crochets in that same stitch right here. Once you get to this point, you're gonna chain 3, and then slip stitch into that same stitch. So now that you have it looking like this, we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch to move forward. Now chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now slip stitch into that same stitch that we just did. Slip stitch into the next one, and then you're going to repeat the same exact thing. So chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, slip stitch into that same one, and then go into the next stitch with the slip stitch. So you're gonna keep repeating that same pattern for the entirety of this 58 chain, and it's going to naturally start curving in on itself. Alright, so I've made it nearly to the end. I just have this one last stitch to go into, so I'm going to make my last slip stitch. Chain 7. Slip stitch into that same stitch. So now we have clusters in all of the chains that you created. And now we can just fasten off. So after I slip stitched, I'm going to again leave myself a little amount of yarn so I can tie it. Something like that. Pull through. And then this one is really easy to secure. I'm just going to create a little knot, both end pieces. Tighten it. And now this is what a finished flower will look like. As we saw, we just tied it to secure the end pieces right here. And you're just gonna repeat and make as many flowers as you want, and then I'll show you how to create the leaves. So I don't have any green yarn on hand, unfortunately. I'm just gonna be using this yellow yarn to show you guys how to create the leaves and the vines, and you can just pick whatever color green you like best. What's great about this pattern is that you do not have to like count too much or be perfect. It's actually better, in my opinion, if each leaf is kind of placed at random, because it creates that sort of randomness that we see in nature in vines. So I'm gonna create my slip knot and then create however many chains you want before your first leaf starts. So for me, I'm gonna just chain 5, and then this is how long I want the vine to be before the first leaf. So from this point, to start my leaf, I'm going to chain 7, 2, 3, and I'm going to skip that first stitch right there and then go into the next one with a slip stitch. Go into the next stitch with a single crochet. And then a half double crochet into the next stitch right here. Another half double crochet into the next stitch. And then we're gonna taper off the leaf by doing a single crochet and then a slip stitch into this next one. So that is what one of the leaves is gonna look like. And from this point, we're gonna just continue this chain going vertically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say I want now like 7 chains before the next leaf starts. So I chain 7. Now to start my leaf again, chain 5. And then we're just gonna repeat that same exact thing. So I'm skipping that first chain right here, going to the next one with a slip stitch. Next one with a single crochet. Half double crochet. Another half double crochet. Single crochet. And a slip stitch. So now we have 2 leaves, and you're just gonna keep going for however long you want this particular vine to be. So that's essentially what it is. And then once you get to the desired length of the chain, you're gonna start going backwards. So pretend that it's a lot longer. Just for this demonstration's sake, I'm gonna keep it this long. Let's say I want this very short vine. I'm going to now start going back again, skipping that first chain, going with the slip stitch into the second chain, and then you're just going to keep slip stitching down this long chain until you get to the spot where you want to put another leaf. So I'm going to want to put a leaf on exactly the other side of this one. So I'm going to slip stitch right in here where the last leaf was. Slip stitch. Now that I've slip stitched right on the opposite side of this first leaf, I'm going to create another leaf. So I'm chaining 7. And creating my leaf as usual. So skip that first one, go into the next one with a slip stitch. Single crochet. Half double crochet. Another half double. Single crochet. And slip stitch. So now I've created another leaf exactly on the other side of this, and I'm going to slip stitch into this next chain right here. Not this big gap, I'm gonna slip stitch to secure it right here. Just like that. And then continue slip stitching down the chain. Until we've reached this second leaf. Again, I'm going to slip stitch into that gap and then chain 7 to make my new leaf. Slip stitch, single crochet, half double, half double, single, slip stitch, just like that. Slip stitch right into the next one, and then continue slip stitching to end. So this is like a mini yellow version of what your vine will look like. You can make it as long as you want, and then pretty much you're just gonna use these two patterns to assemble your garland however which way you'd like to, and then tie them all together. So I'm gonna show you a close-up shot of my garland and what it looks like once you finish. So what I did is I created a really, really long vine, and for this really long one, I actually didn't even like make that many leaves. Like, it's kind of just sparse and random. I made a very long line for essentially the width of my door frame or wherever you want to hang it. And then I made smaller vines that are going to hang vertically along this way. And then I literally just kind of placed it on a flat surface. It's hard to get it all in the shot right here, but I placed it all on a flat surface, and in order for it to hang in the doorways, I made sure that, let's say it's hanging like right here. This is the corner of my door frame. There's gonna be a long enough end that it's not slipping through whatever hook is there, and it creates a nice edge. Same thing on the other side. And the reason we left these two strings is to make things very, very easy. Choose wherever you want to put your flower and just tie it. Tight double knot. I think I even went like underneath and secured it again on the other side. That makes sense. Kind of wrap it around. Just tie it however many times you think is going to be secured. And then I just cut it close. Since this is something that I don't really plan on having a lot of wear and tear, it's just going to be like hanging for decoration. I'm not going to worry about like weaving in my ends too much. I just tied a knot about 3 times. And then that's what it looks like once it's all assembled.